Hello, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. This video is gonna be much calmer than my previous rage outbursts. I tend to have those, and I am not ashamed of it, not for a single solitary second. So, in this video, I want to show you, because I've been talking about those constant rejections that I've been having due to the idiotic reasons, and I consider them to be idiotic. But first of all, I want to touch this topic of employers trying to lure you into the office in 2026. I've started working in IT in general as a tech support slash customer support in 2014, and I started doing that remotely, and there was like absolutely no problem with doing this remotely. Because if you do that, your work just shows itself. It speaks by itself. It does not require any trackers, any additional spyware software, whatever the hell is being installed on your device, or on the device that if there's a possibility of your employer sending you this device. So there was none of that crap, and that was the beauty of it. The beauty of it was that there was no micromanagement. I think that micromanagement is a cancer to any job. Absolutely to any job, especially in the IT, because in the IT, whatever you're doing, you are doing it at your best when nobody is constantly poking at you, when nobody is constantly distracting you with some other shit, questions, meetings, advice that you have never asked for. Imagine that, for example, you are a developer or you are a QA, such as myself, for example. And you're being constantly told, or your team lead is being constantly told on how to do his job and how to develop the test the exact way, from a person who is out of context, who is out of technical context, who is not dealing with this crap on a day-to-day basis, but still being told on how to do his or her job. This is something that, man, the best way from the managerial point of view and healthy management is when you can describe a ticket or like a task and describe it as clear as possible, then clarify that this or that specific team lead or just your colleagues, they understand what you have created or described, and just give it to them, and that's it. There's no need to go into every single small detail. There's no need to micromanage stuff. Because I think that micromanagement, if you put that into the out of job sort of life, is kind of an obsession. Is being obsessed, is being super anxious. Is trying to control every single possible outcome, every single line of code, every single piece of logic. Because this also shows me a lack of trust, or it indicates to me that there is a lack of trust on the very basic level. And this is you can take the personal factor out of it. It's impossible. I also think that people who micromanage stuff, they are obsessive in their relationships with their sort of significant others. So they try to control where their partner is 24/7. They get obsessed, they get disappointed, they overthink, they collapse, they have mental outbreaks, and stuff like that. I also noticed that it really is, no matter how many times you hear this phrase, you gotta keep business and personal stuff kind of separated. It's impossible to keep those two separated, because they always come together. And if a person woke up in a bad mood, is going to translate into the job as well, because you are always in the moment, and what you're feeling, you always are feeling that very stuff in the moment, sort of. You're gonna feel in those feelings and those states, emotional states, and it's impossible, man. It's, no matter how hard you try it, no matter how hard you want to lock in, no matter how hard you grind, there can be moments when you're feeling like you're doing something good, that you're putting in 110% or whatever the hell these corporate peeps are telling you. But in reality, this is just temporary as everything else. So for a week or two or for a month, you can be like this grind machine, sort of running in a hamster wheel, and be happy about it. But then you're just gonna break, and you won't even understand why. You're just gonna be drained. It's almost as if your body is gonna tell you that, man, this is not right. Something's not right. You're wasting yourself. You're just wasting yourself. and you're seeing no results. You try to catch that happiness in the moment for the sake of it, but it was never really there. So like the happiness is not in the over grinding stuff. Like usually it comes in waves. So then it brings me to this agile methodology type shit, because I believe that agile nowadays, especially, it's built on this sense of hurry, sense of trying to over deliver, this sense of that everything is only like speed related. And I'm telling you, good things and especially great things, they are never connected to the speed of delivery, and never connected to this constant rush or running, because it brings in chaos, it brings in anxiety, of course, and at some point you just lose the sense of direction that you probably had before. So running, all this cyclical nature of these sprint-based deliveries, and as they'll see, I don't think that this is a good practice, and at least I don't think that anymore. Old school generation of devs, and I believe QAs as well, used to have this at least like hybrid type of thing, which was like hybrid between let's say of agile and waterfall, and this is what I tend to lean more, at least like nowadays. So for me, it's better to do that. And come on, I mean, if you take any modern app, it's oversaturated with functionality, and sometimes it's missing basic things. So one example here would be the Revolut bank application, mobile application, sort of like fintech neobank. It's a great app, not gonna lie. It's probably the greatest on the European space, at least, and I've used several of those. So as far as that goes, I've had these issues with Revolut when I was changing my residency, and just trying to. I've downloaded the app, I've had an account in the app before, I have tried to change my address at first. I wasn't able to do that. Man, I mean, what kind of BS is that? Like, you can change your personal information, but you cannot change the address. So why would I need to create like a second account just so they can put in the new address? Like, why doesn't your app allow to do that like dynamically in the current account? Just for the sake of it, just prompt user with a new workflow, so that when you're changing the address, you kind of upload the documents for your new residency, so that you don't change the account, so you don't have to delete the account, because it brings in so much trash. Because you gotta empty the account, you gotta find a way where to put the money, then you gotta close the account, then you gotta open the account again. I mean, like the new account, and or undergo the whole process again. Why all of that cannot be done dynamically? I would say that Ukrainian Monobank is the best that there is, and I hope it stays that way. I truly do. Because in my experience, whenever I pat somebody on the back, that person instantly turns into the opposite version of what I sort of cherish in that person, or in that situation, in that technology, and whatever. So no, I'm not gonna jump there too much, but this is just a simple thing, man. And going back to the remote part of this of the IT, since I have arrived here in Europe, I cannot understand why are you so obsessed with bringing people into the offices. If any tech job can be done 100% remotely, I think that this is a rudimentary, outdated behavior. And the root causes are always somewhere in the management, because the management doesn't trust anybody but themselves. I think they don't even trust themselves. Usually managers are either psychopaths or sociopaths, or maybe drug addicts or something like that, because their behavior kind of shows that. It's indirect. It's these signs that drop in, they're indirect, and but nowadays I think it's pretty much direct. So you gotta be blind if you can see that, and you gotta be deaf if you can hear that. So I mean, why do I observe? Why am I observing this sort of situation that in 2014 The company that I've started my professional journey with was totally okay with every person working remotely because we could always connect on the state of things at each and given moment of time. But why am I seeing that in 2026, where supposedly and allegedly we got like super advanced technologies now, we got countless amounts of of software for every single piece of this cycle of development and testing, and and shipping and collecting feedback and all the SDLC type stuff. So why am I seeing that they are trying to lure you into the office in this or that way? It's like I've had like several sort of like talks with the recruiters. I mean, they like contacted me on LinkedIn, and man, I gotta tell you that they are always trying to lure you in. Whether it's like when you gotta visit the office like 3 times a week, or like once a week, or a couple of times per 2 weeks. Man, it really blows my mind, because I think that there is an underlying agenda, and the underlying agenda is they want to control you. They want to control you because, man, let's get real with this one. Because like when you are in the office, like whether you are in an office or at home, does it matter where you are if you're still the same tech piece of equipment and the same set of tasks? I mean, come on, like are you incapable of reaching out to your teammates and talking to them, clarifying the requirements, speaking about the tasks, speaking about the execution, the possibilities to test this or that thing. So it was never the issue. So the main root cause, like actually the only root cause why they're trying to lure you into the office is control. They want to control you. They just want to control. They want to see you suffer in that cubicles. They want to see you suffer out there. It brings in so much bullshit, like on top of that, indirectly, and some stuff that you're not even aware of if you're taking that offer to work in an office. Because usually when you take that offer, you are starting to visit the office, there's all this like IT/tech parasites that begin to occur, and they are usually in the shapes of forms that some corporate culture. There's some let's say events that you gotta attend. There's a certain way you gotta present yourself or speak. Man, we are adult people. We are self-aware adults, and we pretty much know how to behave ourselves without these constant reminders. Because it don't like I'm seeing this like as if all the geeks in school came up together and they decided to put on this happy little smiley face, right? And then you gotta behave a certain way, or I will kill you. Have a nice day, you piece of shit. Something like that. This is something that I'm feeling from these people, and I can help it because they're trying to subdue once again their own insecurities and their own feelings and their own deep feelings somewhere that in that Pandora's box they're too afraid to open, because who knows what's gonna happen, because there's a lot of rage, a lot of inconsistency in beliefs, a lot of suppression. Yes, this is the best term to describe that crap. A tremendous amount of suppression in those people. And I don't believe that they're not aware of it. It's just that they're deliberately ignoring it. And this is why they become who they become throughout the years. So, man, going back to this remote stuff, I just can't understand. Given the fact that I have been doing this over 11 years, and there's been only like 2 days where I was in the office, and I hated those 2 days. I wanted to try and see maybe there was some magic to being in the office. No, everybody's on their PCs or like the laptops and notebooks. We didn't talk to each other, so it was just a waste of time, because you got to get to the office. You got to get in there. You probably got to do some bunch of stupid corporate stuff out there. Then you got to get out, like sort of like clock out and stuff. And with these sort of like opportunities that have been presented to me sort of recently. So let's take one of those, is that where when you got to go to the UK, for example. But in order to go to the UK, you gotta undergo a visa, like you have to get a visa first, and that visa like lasts, I don't know, like 2 or 3 weeks. And given the fact that you're required to visit like that place for some amount of time every month, come on, man, it's gonna be just a pain in the ass. Like, and the fact that, like, the main thing that pisses me off about it is that these companies, they are not helping their employees anyhow. I'm happy that I work with some Ukrainian agencies, because they have their like accountants out there, the people that help with the finances. They've got their sort of like legislation teams. They can give you consultancies in regards on how to open something that you would call like VAT, or like individual entrepreneurship in the country, which is a different country from your base country of residence. So I'm happy that why we supposedly third world country, why do we understand that, and why does the great British Empire doesn't understand that, for example? Because it's just like a lot of bullcrap to me. So I don't get this remote thing, and I don't get this we don't help you with anything thing as well. I am a QA. Once again, I am just a QA. I'm here to do testing and to do automation, and that's it on your project. Nothing more, nothing less. I am not here to do the financial part of things. I'm not here to do the legislation. No, I have only one profession, and I'm not gonna waste my time on that stuff. Let other people who are more qualified, just hire them and let them help your employees. But yeah, who will ever listen to me? Okay, let's throw anything and everything on the employees so they get burned out even before they join the company. Man, it's like the tech sphere is the most retarded sphere in these as far as this goes. I cannot say anymore because I just don't want to talk about this anymore. So I would like to show you just a few of the sort of like inquiries from the HRs, which turn out to be, oh man, just complete BS. They are making me feel burnt out even before the goddamn like the first stage of the interview. I mean, come on, man, what the hell? So there was this guy who just contacted me recently. As I'm filming this, it happened yesterday. So the role was something like test lead, QA lead in Portugal. So I remember hearing that Portugal was like a great space for the digital nomads or just the IT peeps. Well, when I saw the prices for for renting the apartments, I don't think that this is a great place anymore, because the prices are skyrocketing everywhere. And the fact that you also have to work on the visa, work on these documents, man, I've just done them in Spain. I'm not going to waste my time doing that, doing that stuff again in yet another country. There's been too much for me. This Ukrainian escape and trying to settle down here has been too much for me. No. I'm not going to endure myself drag myself back into that chaos anymore. No. You deal with that. It's your job to deal with that. It's your job to find the best peeps, and it's a job of the employer to provide the best conditions for the employees. As much whether you like it or you don't, because life will show you where you're wrong. So then I say that I'm pretty much like, yeah, I'm in active search, and this guy answers that I'm happy to relocate to Portugal and work on hybrid mode. And pretty much I have considered this possibility because I've seen the feedback from some people who've been there. So they're saying like this is some sort of, at least it was a paradise for the IT and tech people in the past. Then these two questions, they have pissed me off. It's like, how will you get the visa in Portugal? Will you be able to get visa? I mean, isn't this your job as a representative of the employer to provide me as an employee with everything I need so I can join the goddamn project and just start working on it? So then I don't have to undergo these, 9 circles of hell before I just start the project. And imagine like if I complete all these several circles of hell and I got these documents, and then they say, Oh, well, sorry, best of luck in your future endeavors, but we decided to proceed with another candidate. You know, this cliche bullshit answer, which is not even human, I guess. Why do I have to raise my finger even for this one? If I'm not being helped in any sort of way from the start. And I want this to become super massive. I want this to become mainstream. So that people reject this kind of BS in their lives. Why do you have to bend over for somebody who's not even gonna help you? Do you have a Stockholm syndrome or what? Are you in love with your torturers? I just don't understand that. I don't. And then it says like you'll have to relocate to Portugal and work hybrid mode, 3 days a week on site. Well, basically this is what I've just talked about in regards to the office. These can be like every tech job nowadays can be done remotely. You may want to argue with me. You may want to hate me for that. But I would still stand firm on this statement. Because I have been doing this remotely for 11 plus years. As you can see, I'm still alive. Jesus Christ. I mean, is it like it is not about this is not about, you know, just visiting the office for the sake of it. It's about control. It's about control. It's about control. It's always been about control. So, you know, in these subtle attacks, I know where these people are there trying to lure you into their trap and make you fall into this trap. So we are like a family here and all that bullshit. Isn't it that hard, you know, just to let person like be aware of his or her tasks and just let them do the job without micromanagement, like without micromanaging them? Yeah, so then I refused because, as I've said, I've just escaped hell. I don't want to undergo another hell anymore, because at least not now, because I'm just sick of it all. And, you know, given the fact that I'm not being helped anyhow from these sort of people, I wouldn't even call them people, they're entities to me. So I don't want to raise my finger for that. Either you help me so that I can do my job and actually be of help for your project, or we have nothing to talk about, because I am getting burnt out at the stage of the conversation with these people right now. The next thing, so for this next thing, I want to open my profile and let's actually read what it says. Right, so here's my name, like full name, so like the channel name, which I'm filming for right now. Then we got the the title, which says what? QA lead, automation architect, owning product quality, playwright, Cypress CI/CD. Well, mostly playwright, and mostly like QA lead / automation. So like mostly this part, even this part. That's like primarily. You know, I don't have a lot of connections because I don't believe that connections on LinkedIn mean something, because I have never, been recommended a job via some of my connections on LinkedIn. It has never happened throughout the years. Never, not a single time. So this is just a shell of a social media network, sort of. Always been that way, and nowadays LinkedIn is a complete shit show of fake accounts or just people who are posting AI sloppified content, which is like, you know, a copy paste of one another, and you can clearly see the AI style being applied to, you know, to their sort of like stories or posts or narratives. So we got that, right? So here's my location and my basic, I don't know, it doesn't allow to, you know, to select your nationality so that it can be visible right here. But my full name is definitely not Spanish. I mean, Alexander is something like, in Spanish it would go something like Alejandro. So this is just one thing. I get contacted by another recruiter, and basically what's been presented to me is that, you know, the position focuses on building scalable automation frameworks in CI/CD processes. So basically what it says right here, it's sort of like, you know, resembles something of the QA world. So it caught my attention naturally, you know, and then, you know, I respond with, you know, with the CV and with stuff like that. So just typical stuff. And then we go ahead and talk some more. And then I've been sent and presented with 2 files with the position's description. So let me kind of open one for you. So let me move it here so that you can see it better. And what I see here is like DevOps engineer, DevOps, and the description is very different from the original that I have received out there. And the second one is also like DevOps. Let me also show you this stuff. Even in the title it says DevOps, but like the fact that they don't even take their time to open your profile and have at least a little bit of overview, because it's all here. It's all here. Posts are all here. The experience is here. The GitHub links and all that crap is also here. CV should also be out here somewhere. Oh yeah, here it is. It's not so hard to find. It's not so hard to to spend like 30 seconds to 1 minute, maybe 2 minutes of your time if you're actually looking for somebody, and not like trying to doing this just to report to your management so that you don't get shouted at or disrespected or whatever the hell is going on in your toxic organization. So man, this is bullshit, complete BS. Then we got another one. So this was just like sent to me regarding the QA automation engineer position. I naturally responded with, as I always do, and then there's just this silence. Silence? Why? Is it like a silent rejection? And I see this little circle right here. It demonstrates that the person has read my message, but the person has not responded. This is some kind of a sick joke, Just like some kind of a sick joke to me. Let's go further. Let's go to another one. So this was in Spanish originally, and this was also related to the QA automation engineer remote opportunity, or hybrid as I see from this one. And then I believe I've been using Google Translate to actually talk to the person. So somewhere along this conversation, it turned out that a person who they're looking for needs to be a Spanish native speaker, which I'm not. I'm not even an English native speaker, but but I just can't speak the language. So, and come on, like all the development is being done in English. If you have written communication, you can always use the translate. I believe some messengers have the inbuilt translate function nowadays. I believe I've also seen those, the lizard Mark Zuckerberg working on some stuff like the translation which happens in real time during a video call. So when a person is speaking like, when two people are speaking different languages, each and every one like in the opposite side is getting the translation in real time, like text translation of what the other person said. So I just don't understand that. It's like, it's not because, like, as you can see, none of these rejections are not because I'm a bad specialist or something like that. They happen to me for the stupidest of reasons. I cannot comprehend that. They also had something like, like yet another opportunity, sort of, but it turned out to be a hoax as well, as all of them are these days. So once again, like a Salesforce QA test automation engineer, 12 months contract, all those details are here. I've had like a few of my days at the time, I have them booked fully with some meetings or some other stuff. And then as we proceed with the talk, so I said that, it's gonna be like next week, and I've pointed out the time. And then like once again, rejected because what? I'm afraid this role is urgent. Like if it's that urgent, maybe we could have been able to talk now. Why are you asking me for my time slots then? Can you just say like, how urgent is it? Do you need it like in 5 minutes? Do you want me to start working like right now in a minute or 5 or so, 10? I don't know. He's like, oh yeah, no. What the hell is wrong with you people? What the hell is wrong with this goddamn tech sphere? It has never been in this sort of like state. Never ever in my experience it was that catastrophical as it is now. So I just wanted to point this stuff out. So because I've been mentioning this in quite a few of my vids previously, and I just want to back myself up and show you some examples of the stupidest reasons of being rejected. I don't know why this is happening. This is not the hardest job on earth. Being an automation QA is not the hardest part. It's not the hardest job on earth, but you have to do it right, and you have to do it without rushing. And this is what like 95% of the modern management are too stupid to understand, because they have been brainwashed by this agile type thing, that by the AI hype bros, or just by the AI hype overall, and that nobody is needed but the AI now, and one person can do can do it all. Then why are you not doing that very same job? Maybe you would tell me, because I think that this is a bubble, and I want this bubble to to burst so hard that that this that the AI will never recover. So what I can say is that these, I don't see my job as being something like that is very hard, but I see that in order for this job to be not hard, not super hard, you gotta avoid the unnecessary bullshit, and you gotta do things right. You gotta have this consistential approach, step-by-step approach to this thing, with a high-level overview of any system you like bringing yourself into, which components are there, which accesses are needed, like which APIs and such. And then somewhere you can utilize the AI, that's for sure. AI can have its pluses in data analysis, but it is so damn out of context. I thought that I was getting somewhere with AI, but it started. I've had these settings in my IDE, global settings, memory settings, but it also started glitching and hallucinating. So it's almost like one day it keeps strictly to the instructions, the other day it just breaks all the rules. So I don't and given the fact that these are paid models that I've tried using, I don't see why do I have to pay even like 10 or 15 bucks a month for continuing to using that crap, because it's just crap. If I would have been able to try at least and utilize that on a real project, maybe I would tell you better and more. But since just for the things you've seen, for the stupid ass rejection reasons that you have just seen from me, man, this, should I state the fact that the tech is dead, or is it just evolving? I don't see that it is evolving. I see it as degrading, regressing, and probably slowly dying. Or maybe not slowly, because there's a cataclysm right now going on, I guess, everywhere. So what did I really want to point out with this vid? Probably if you're feeling the same way as I am feeling right now, hello, let's talk about it. Leave your comments in the under the vid, and leave your thoughts out there too. So if you want to connect, let's have a conversation. Probably whether it's gonna be offline or online, whether whether you want it to go public, so that other people can see, or just keep it private between us. So I would be happy to talk to more people who are in the same situation, and what do they think about it, what are they feeling about it, and where do you think this is going? Because I think all of this is going to a complete collapse, because it's all just one big hype bubble. AI cannot replace anything and everything. It just cannot, given the fact that it's so dumb, and it's not getting more clever, it's not getting smarter, sort of, right? So even if you have all the instructions in all the sort of prompts within, whether it be your IDE or your agents or both, or the connections between those, it is still making the very same goddamn mistakes over and over again. You prompt it with one task, and it gives you completely another answer, or it gives you subtle errors which if you don't review the output, they will kill your code base, or will be just a complete waste of money, because each prompt on the paid model costs money, and you cannot escape that stuff. So yeah, keep it simple. I please, I beg of you, just keep it simple. And I would rather work in the waterfall SDLC sort of model than being in this constantly overhyped agile hell with sadistic schizophrenic management. So, or I also got examples of healthy agile in my workbook, sorta. So it's not all that bad everywhere, but man, it's like a rare gem. So please, we need to redirect this thing to a more simple, to a more simplified, to a more sort of even controllable approach and process, not because of our anxiety, but because of our stability. And stable and quality things can only come from the stable and quality environment, and not from constantly anxious, constantly running here and there, and not from constantly arguing and trying to micromanage each and every one of the employees and the given organization. So I would like to thank you for staying with me for so damn long, because I think I'm talking too much, but I'm not feeling ashamed about it. So because this is just how it is nowadays, I believe. The tech sphere is at its lowest point. It's the worst it has ever been. So we got to take a step back and, you know, an approach will probably like attract or look for, I don't know, like those projects where the old school paradigm is being used. Whether it's more stable, more straightforward, more sequential, more understandable, and more human oriented. Because machine will always eat itself. Thank you for watching. I appreciate your time, I appreciate your attention and your support. Peace out.